everybody, it's Noreen here with a new episode of What's for Dinner. Tonight we're going to address what am I supposed to do with all those Easter ham leftovers. We're going to make a really delicious casserole that my mom used to make growing up. I know I keep going back to these, and if you knew what I did to go find the recipe for this, you would just laugh. So let me set it up for you. I knew I wanted to make this. I knew the cookbook that it was in. Now, we recently redid our living room, and I took a whole bunch of our books to the storage. So I had 4 stacks of book boxes. And on the way out to the storage, I said to myself, I'll bet you anything that will be in the last box on the bottom of the last stack. And sure enough, I'm going through all the boxes, and it's not there, not in this one, not in this one, not in this one. Where was it? It was in the very last box, on the very last stack, on the very bottom of the book boxes. So, I hope you really like this recipe, because I about killed myself trying to get the freaking book out of the storage. Anyway, the recipe is called Ham and Cheese Sandwich Puff. And it's also a really good recipe for a buffet, or like a brunch dish. And it's one of those, we're going to have to put it in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. Overnight is even better. So this is really another good thing, like for Christmas breakfast or Easter breakfast, because you can prepare it the night before. In the morning you can just throw it in the oven. It takes about 30 minutes. So let's get started and I'll show you what goes in this. We're going to start with about 1 pound, and I did measure it on my scale after I trimmed it up, of our leftover Easter ham. About 1/2 pound or 1 cup of Swiss cheese. And this is about 1 pound. This is about 1 pound of ham, about 1/2 pound of cheese. It's going to have 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 2 1/4 cups of milk, 6 eggs, a sprinkling of nutmeg, because nutmeg and eggs, they're like this. Okay, and I have 12 slices of toasted bread. So I'm going to clear this just a second, because the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in the blender, and then we're going to bring the food processor over this way. See, I'm going to put my eggs over here. And Richard keeps eating the dinner. All right, here's our food processor. Well, let me run my eggs through here first, then I'll have that finished. And you don't have to feel like you have to use the machines, but I have them and they make life a little bit easier. So guess what? Crack our eggs right into the blender. That's 5 eggs, and that's 6 eggs. And we're going to put our milk in there as well. That's 2 1/4 cups of milk. That's nice rich milk. Okay, and let me reach right back here. And just not too much. Ooh, that smells good. I would say like 1/8 of a teaspoon, really, because nutmeg just has a real strong flavor, but it really lends itself well to eggs. Okay, we'll put the lid on. And that's all she wrote. That's all you need to do. Now, let's move on over here to our food processor. I like to just give that a wipe on the inside. I should have done that before I had you come in. But that's okay. Okay, to this. Well, first I have to go get my other blade. Pardon me. going to put cheese in here, like so. Plugging it in helps also. We're really grinding the cheese up. And then we're going to put the ham in there. We're going to do the same thing. And you want it pretty fine. That's perfect right there. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to toss our ham in there. See how easy the food processor makes this? Let it do its thing.
For those that don't have a food processor?
A meat grinder would work. A mini chopper would work, but you would have to do it. You would have to do it in stages. I'm going to pulse this so that it kind of see pulsing helps because then it falls into the center. Or a whole afternoon with a knife, that's true. There was a time, once upon a time, when you could go to your local grocer, your butcher, your deli, and ask them to grind the ham up for you. But that time, I think, is long past. I don't think that any place is really concerned with customer service anymore like they once were. So this is the consistency. You can see it's starting to all ball up like that. That's just about where you want it before we add the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to get my scraper out.
If you just add some mayonnaise, they make a hell of a sandwich spread.
It would indeed. Okay. And that's essentially what we are making here, is a sandwich spread. So, this is our half cup of mayonnaise. If you prefer the other product, then you go right ahead and use that.
The tangy one.
If I wanted sugar in my mayonnaise, I'd put it there myself.
And vinegar.
There's vinegar and mayonnaise. Okay, there's 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard. Use whatever mustard you like, but I would not recommend leaving it out because it really does make a difference. And we're going to go ahead and mix this all together. And I'm going to pulse it again. And we're right back there. We'll take this off. It never wants to come off. And I'm going to just set this right here, and I'm going to get this big part out of the way. And it's going to seem a little dry to you. But don't worry. Now, this in and of itself, folks, you've just pretty much made deviled ham, which is a lot better than the deviled ham in a can, that's for sure, which isn't bad to begin with. It's pretty darn good. Pretty good. All right.
Very good.
Now, don't worry about this giant sink full of dishes that you're going to make while you do this, because it's easy to clean up and everything goes in the dishwasher.
Especially if you have kids.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. You hear Molly? This is what I live with. All right. Now, I have 12 slices of toasted bread. Make sure you have toasted them. And I just set them in this casserole dish too. I am going to spray this with some non-stick cooking spray. If it doesn't work, that's okay, because in my mind I really believe it helps. Okay. Now basically what we're going to do is we're going to make 6 sandwiches. So, if we line up 6 pieces of bread, we line up 6 pieces of bread, and we're going to kind of guesstimate. And we want this to be even. Yes, I'm using my hands, so when you make yours, if you don't want to use your hands, don't. But I keep saying my hands are my best tools in the kitchen. Now, we want this to be even, so you'll pardon my hands. We want this to be as even as possible.
You washed them yesterday, didn't you?
Indeed, I did. I think so. If not, last week, that was good. Okay, let's see. And I know that this looks really, really thick. But the next thing you just want, you know what, I'm just going to use my hands again. Kind of just spread it out there. And you can see I wet my hand a little, and that really makes a difference. Because when you're spreading it out, make sure you get to all the corners and make it as even as possible, so that cooking time will be a breeze. It's just like when you roll meatballs. Sometimes when you wet your hands, it helps a lot.
Makes them non-stick.
It kind of does make them non-stick. Because you've got, the ham is kind of fatty, and I trimmed off much of the fat. But we've got mayonnaise and cheese and mustard in here. Okay, now top it, give it a good press with your other 6 slices of bread. All right, now get yourself a serrated knife, and you're going to make cut these into like so. And then we're going to move over here and we're going to stand them up. Yes, I understand how odd that looks. And because this bread is kind of elongated, rectangular, instead of square, you're not going to have perfect triangles. But that's okay. If they don't stand up, just kind of push them down in there.
It looks cool that way.
I think it does too. Just alternate the big side with the little side, and everything should fit just perfect. Now I'm going to wipe off my workspace over here because I made a giant mess. And I'm going to move my casserole dish. I think that's as good as it's going to get. If I had, this is a 9x13 glass casserole dish, and if you have a larger one, that might be better, but frankly, if you had a larger one, it might not fit so well. It might be too big. And remember the egg mixture that we did earlier? Let me just give this a quick wazz up, as Jamie would say. Just to combine everything again. And you guessed it, this eggy, milky mixture is going to go right over the top. pour it all in there. And that's going to get absorbed by that bread. Then I'm going to grab my plastic wrap. Let's see. And this is my most favorite type of plastic wrap. It's called Stretch Tight. And I can only get it in one store here, but it's my favorite. Alright, then Rick can follow me. I'm going to come over here and open my refrigerator. And I'm just going to put it in the fridge. And it's going to stay there for 4 hours at least. And then we're going to come back later after it's had its little cool nap. And we're going to get ready to put it in the oven. So when that time comes, I'll be back. Okay, oh, there's the alarm system. We are back, and it has been, I don't know, about 5.5 hours this was in the refrigerator. And you can see, look at, it absorbed all of that egg mixture.
Yep.
It's all soaked into the bread. So I have my oven preheated to 325 degrees. They say in the recipe a slow oven, so 325. All right, let me turn my oven light on. We're going to go ahead and pop it right on in there. And I'm going to put this on one side. And then hopefully you just saw my asparagus. And we're going to put that in the oven next to it. The asparagus is going to come out first. The ham puff is going to cook for 30 minutes. The asparagus is going to cook for about 15, and I'm going to check it. We don't want it to turn to mush. We still want it to have a little crispness to it. So when this gets ready to come out of the oven, I will come back and I will fix you a plate of ham and cheese sandwich puff deliciousness. I'll be back soon. Okay, we let this go for, I think, 45 minutes. As you can see, it looks perfect to me. It's all puffy and brown and delicious, and the little post points are crispy. I think this is gorgeous. So, there's nothing left to do now but fix you a plate. So let me get a spatula. And it's all warm and bubbly. Oh, so good.
Too bad you can't smell it.
I'm just going to come down in here. And I'll tell you right now, this probably isn't going to cut the way you want it to, so don't sweat it. Let's loosen up those edges a bit. And this is also good left over after you put it in the refrigerator after it cools down a little. Never put hot leftovers in the refrigerator. You may hear things that are contrary to that, but I think that it's better to wait for them to cool off than put them in the fridge. Let's see, I'm trying to find the, let's see. Ooh. Okay. There we go. You can see it's all eggy like French toast. And there's that delicious ham and cheese filling that we put in there. I think it looks wonderful. I can't wait for you to try this. I really do hope you try it, and I hope you enjoy it. So there's one idea for your Easter leftovers, for your ham leftovers. I hope you try this, and I hope you enjoy it. And until next time, I'll see ya!